Hey, welcome back. It's another weigh-in today. My name is Tammy and I've lost over 100 pounds using a ketogenic diet since January 1st, 2017. Today is September 17th, 2017. It's week 37 of my diet and I had my weigh-in this morning. If you've watched my other weigh-ins, you know that this month has been pretty rough for me. I ended up doing a 3-day youth event, photographing it, and also starting clogging classes, and apparently my body just decided that it was going to go all wacko and crazy and gain a ton of water weight. And so for the last 3 weeks, I've kind of been hoping that the water weight would go down, and been really frustrated because it felt like that the scale was kind of getting stuck at around 275. My starting weight was 374 pounds. And so that would have put me at 99, and after being able to say that I lost over 100 pounds, it was not very nice to be stuck at 275. So let's get to the weigh-in for today. So this morning, I stepped on the scale and my weight was 268 pounds. That's an 8.6 pound loss from last week and a total of 106 pounds lost total. I am absolutely excited and thrilled and amazed, and you should have seen my face. Like, I can't even tell you. I was just kind of like, it was a shocking weigh-in for me. And actually, my measurements were also shocking. I lost 4.75 inches this week. I haven't lost that many inches since the beginning of this journey. Lately, it's been maybe 1 to 2 inches, sometimes 3 if it's really a high week. But to be that close to 5 inches lost in 1 week is kind of crazy, I have to say. So I wanted to talk about the whoosh, because that's exactly what happened to me this time, and it's something that has happened to me multiple times, and it will probably happen to you on your weight loss journey, and I would like to share it with you so that you know that it's not something to be afraid of. My body's been hanging on to that last bit of water weight that I put on at the beginning of the month for quite a while now. I kind of thought maybe it was done, and maybe my regular weight was higher than I had thought that it was. But as it turns out, I guess I still had a little bit more water weight on me. But another thing that happened to me yesterday was what we call the whoosh. So when you're losing weight and your fat cells are emptied of fat, your body puts water in the fat cells to hold its place for a while, just in case it needs to quickly put fat back into the cell. As you continue to stay in your low-calorie diet, your body will finally go, oh, I guess she's not going to put any more fat in me, and then it lets the water go. So you can kind of tell that your body is holding water in fat cells as you're losing weight, because you will be able to feel in your arms and in your legs and rolls and things, you can feel little tiny hard lumps, almost like frozen peas, some of them bigger, more oblong, some of them smaller. I'll tell you what, the first time I felt that, I totally thought I was riddled with tumors and I had totally had cancer. No, turns out that it's just your fat cells filled tight with water, and they feel like little hard pebbles in your fatty tissue. So I knew that I was retaining water that way as well, because I could feel all the little hard bumps, and so I knew that a whoosh was coming, but I didn't know when it was going to happen. Well, yesterday I knew that I was having the whoosh finally, because I was in the restroom every single hour. You know, like a racehorse. It was insane. And the whole time I kept thinking, this is extremely inconvenient, because, you know, I'm out running and I would have to go from place to place and use the restroom at both locations and then come back and use the restroom at that location. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. But the whole time I'm thinking, yes, 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 finally the whoosh. I'm so happy I'm going to be able to see my results on the scale. I knew that I was down quite a bit because I could actually see it in the mirror this time. When I would look at my arms and this part of my body and even my hips and waist, I could tell that I had gotten thinner, which is weird because usually I can't tell. So I knew it was quite a bit, but the scale was just staying at 275 and it was not moving. Finally, yesterday it went down 2 pounds to 273, so I thought, well, that's great. At least something's happening. But yesterday, I just knew it was going to be a huge loss on the scale because I'd had experience of the whoosh before. But I'll tell you what, this morning when I stood on the scale and it said 268, I was literally in shock. I had no idea that I would be able to lose 5 pounds overnight. Overnight! In just water. So I kind of knew a part of that weight gain was water. And if you really go over the fact that it's been 3 weeks since my last weigh-in and I'm really only down 3.5 pounds, that's still a pretty slow weight loss for the last 3 weeks, which is kind of a bummer. But I'm super excited that things are moving forward again and that I'm able to continue on my journey and not stress over that number as much now, because I know that it really is moving. It's just sometimes hard to see on the scale because the scale does not always reflect what is actually happening in your body. Anyway, I had a non-scale victory also today that I wanted to share with you guys. This dress, I haven't worn this dress since the last time I was on a weight loss journey. I don't know if you can see. You can't probably see very well, but see my waist there. There. There we go. And this is a dress from Target. From Target! I'm not kidding. I'm finally small enough to buy dresses at Target. Target's biggest size is XXL, but it's really more like a 1X if you go somewhere else. And so the fact that I'm fitting back into this dress today is just a huge non-scale victory for me. I'm super, super happy and excited. I'm just overjoyed that my wardrobe has expanded and a lot of my older clothes from the last time I lost weight are finally fitting me, and it's just like a breath of fresh air for me. Okay, I had another experience this week that I wanted to share with you guys, and I thought maybe I could give you some tips. If you've been interested in possibly donating plasma, I finally bit the bullet and tried it this week because I wanted to see what it was like. I've been thinking about doing it because my schedule is so crazy. There's really no way for me to hold down a job. I'm already a photographer in all my spare evening hours, and something in the morning that I could do to bring in a little extra money to help pay for dance classes is something that I've been looking for. And I've looked at donating plasma for the last couple of months, but I didn't really want to go and do it. I was kind of nervous about it. People would say, you know, don't do it, don't do it. You'll wish you hadn't done it. And I didn't think that that was true, but it kind of let it sway me a little bit. Anyway, so I heard that our local BioLife centers, and actually BioLife all over the country, is offering a really cool deal when you join in September. If you join in September, you'll get a total of $300 for your first 5 donations, which is probably, I think, close to $100 more than you normally get. Maybe even more, but I'm not exactly sure what the regular rate is. So for your first visit, you get $50 the day you go in, and the second visit, $60, third visit, $50, fourth visit, $60, and the fifth visit, $80. I'm like, okay, I totally need that $300. I'm gonna try this. I also made sure to use a referral because they're also offering a buddy referral bonus of $100 if you refer somebody in September. So that's awesome, and I was really glad to give that to my friend. So I made a couple of mistakes going in to do a plasmapheresis, and I thought I would share them with you because they weren't really familiar with someone on a keto diet, and so they didn't really know how to handle me, and I just thought I'd share exactly what happened to me so that maybe you can avoid it and try a little different tack if you decide to try it. The morning of my first donation, I made mistake number 1, and that was not eating a full meal before I went to do it. I read on the website that you need to eat a full meal before you go in for plasmapheresis, but me being an intermittent faster and trying to eat a meal before 7:30 in the morning just was overwhelming to me. So what I decided to do was just have a protein shake because I knew that I had 30 grams of protein and a few carbs, a little bit of fat, and that would probably be enough to satiate me through the process. At least that was what I thought. When I got there, they asked me if I ate a full meal, and of course I said no, I ate a protein shake, and they were like, oh, I don't know if they're going to let you do it then. The nurse came out and talked to me, and she said that if I was willing to eat a snack during the intake questionnaire, that she would let me go ahead and do it. Now, I don't have a lot of extra time in my life, and this is an appointment that I had scheduled, and I really didn't want to miss out, so I thought, well, hopefully it won't be cookies or something crazy. I'm just going to go ahead and eat the snack. So I said, yeah, I would do it. When you first go in, you have to bring your social security card, your ID, and a proof of residence. And once they get you ID'd, they take your photo and your fingerprint is your ID from then on at every station that you do in the place, which is really convenient, so you don't have to remember to always bring your wallet with you or whatever. Then they weigh you, and they take your blood pressure, and they prick your finger and get a little bit of your blood and spin it in a little mini spinner machine and show you what it looks like when you separate the red blood cells from the plasma. The plasma is basically the other fluid that is in your blood that isn't red blood cells. So they don't actually take your blood cells, just the fluid. But what I didn't realize is that they would be taking all of my electrolytes. Yeah, that fluid that surrounds the blood cells, that's where all your sodium and potassium and magnesium lie. And I didn't realize that that was going to end up causing me trouble in the future. So I went ahead and went over to do my questionnaire. They have a questionnaire that takes about 25 minutes to answer a bunch of intrusive questions about your life and drug use and, you know, habits, things like that. Luckily, I don't have anything to hide, and that was pretty easy for me. But during the intake form, I had to eat a snack. My choices were goldfish and Chex Mix. I went ahead and chose Chex Mix because I thought it would probably be a little higher in fiber than goldfish, maybe a little lower in carb. Wasn't really sure if I was going to get sick from eating it. I don't know. But I agreed to eat it, and so I went ahead and ate it. It didn't taste that great, and honestly it has like 6 billion ingredients, and I'm thinking, why is this the thing that you're giving people in order to survive this? Shouldn't you give like cheese or protein snack, or I don't know, like it just seemed to me like this little carby snack was really not going to do me that much good, but I ate it anyway because it said it would. After that, they do a little mini physical. They just check your lymph nodes and your inside your eyes and your mouth and things like that. No big deal. Not a huge physical or anything. Then they took me in to do the plasmapheresis, and they put the needle in my arm. It was no big deal. I have pretty good veins. It didn't hurt. I was fine with it. Basically what they do is that they take out some of your blood, they spin it, separate the plasma from the blood cell, the red blood cells, and then they use another fluid to add to the blood cells and put it back into your body. And then they do that over and over until they've collected the correct amount of milliliters of plasma from you. And then after that, they inject a bag of saline into you so that you're not dehydrated. I was totally fine during the procedure. The blood went out, came back in. Blood went out, came back in. No big deal. And I didn't feel dizzy or weird or anything. But the minute that saline started going into me, I started shaking. I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like I was going to throw up. I was really dizzy. The world was spinning, and I thought, oh no, this isn't good. And I thought, well, maybe this is what happens to everybody who does this, so I'm not going to stress over it. So I got the attention of a nurse, and she came over, and I told her my symptoms, and she's like, oh no, that's not good, that's not good. And I'm like, uh-oh. So she went and got the head nurse, and she brought me Gatorade and forced me to drink a Gatorade. Now, I had already talked to her about my diet. She knew I was restricted calories. She brought me a low-calorie Gatorade. I think it said it had 13 carbs on it. When I input it into Chronometer, it said it was only 5 net carbs, so I'm guessing a lot of that was, not 5 net carbs, a half a net carb. So I'm guessing it was mostly sucralose or some kind of sweetener, so I guess that's not too super horrible. It didn't help me though, because what I really needed was sodium. So the combination of likely my blood sugar tanking from eating carbohydrates when I wasn't used to it, and having an insulin overspike, combined with losing a lot of my sodium, magnesium, and potassium, was probably what the problem was. I ended up having to stay there for an extra 15 minutes. They had to monitor me. I had salt in my bag because I always have salt in my bag, and I ate salts like it was no tomorrow. After about 15 minutes, I felt well enough to go home. It was not a big deal, and I went ahead and went. But I was really tired after, and I came home and I crashed for like an hour. I couldn't do a thing. It's a huge toll on me, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I can do this, as I can't homeschool the kids if I'm sleeping, and I can't drive around to all my things if I can't drive. So yeah, I was kind of concerned, but I decided I would go and try again for a second visit. Oh, I got it. Speaking of visit, I got a little visitor right here. Dimitri wants a cuddle. Okay. Anyway, so I decided I'd go ahead and go in 2 days later and try it again, just to see if I could tweak things a little bit better. So what I did was I planned my appointment for 9 a.m. instead of 7:30, so I had a little bit more time to make a meal. I went ahead and had a meal that consisted of 60 grams of protein and 20 grams of fat. I didn't want it to be too fatty because if you have a high-fat meal, then they can't take your plasma that day because it gets cloudy with fat in your actual blood. So I went ahead and ate that, and then I took 2 tablespoons of Solé, 1 tablespoon at 2 different intervals, about 45 minutes apart, to make sure that I had a lot in me. I made up a bottle of Ketorade that had 2 more tablespoons of Solé in it and a little potassium, and I brought that with me and put it in my bag, and I put salt in my pocket. I know that sounds crazy, but you're not allowed to eat or drink on the floor when you're doing the actual procedure. And I thought if I needed to up my sodium at that time, I wouldn't be able to do it with my drink. So I put, I don't even know, probably like 10 grams of salt in my pocket just in case. Just in my pocket, in nothing. So during the procedure, about 3/4 of the way through, I started to feel shaky and a little bit nauseous, and so I thought, uh-oh, I need to up my sodium. So I just would reach in my pocket, take a pinch of sodium, pop it in my mouth, swallow it, and then I do that probably every time I had a break from the blood, when the blood came back in. So when the blood was going out, I didn't do it, and then when the blood came back in, I went ahead and took a pinch of salt. That really, really helped. By the time I was finished, when I sat up, I didn't feel super dizzy. I was still shaky, probably from the cold. The fluids that they put back in you were kind of cold, so I think that it might have just been that. And I was able to walk out just fine. I did stop in the waiting area and drank half my Ketorade just to be on the safe side, and then I went ahead and went on my way for the day. I never crashed. I never felt super tired. My leg muscles felt a little bit more weak than usual, but I wasn't going to go out and, do squats. We all know I'm not super on exercise, so that was not a problem, and I was able to do it. So I'm super excited because that means that I'm going to be able to continue on donating plasma. It's a great way to make a few extra bucks, but it's also life-saving, and it's so great that I can be a part of something so helpful, and in just my spare time in the mornings, which is just the only spare time that I have. Anyway, thanks so much for coming by. I hope I haven't bored you with all my talking. I mean, if you want to stick around and chat, I am totally always willing to chat. It's like my favorite thing. And of course, my cat really wants to play right now. Oh my gosh, baby boy. Baby boy. Baby boy. Dimitri, he wants to play. He wants to play. Okay, Dimitri, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Meow. All right. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you again soon. I'm hoping to find time to make some more videos. I'm working on a day of eating for you. I really am. It's going to be a little strange, but my life is strange, so it's the best I can do. But I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible and make it stuff that you guys can make on your own if you're just getting started. So that's what I'm going to have for you next. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. I can't wait till next time, and I'm so excited that I get to share this journey with you. Bye!